Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Hey, how you doing? This is the homie Kool Breeze, and this is Shooting the Breeze. All right, how y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
Yes, I'm great.
Introduce yourself.
My name is DJ Heart Attack.
And my name is Nisi Star.
What do you do?
I am a barber and cosmetologist.
All right.
And I'm also CEO of my new t-shirt company. And Kool Breeze might die today because he's getting on my nerves. So this might be his last day.
So just in case I go missing, we know now. All right. So today's topic is a situation that happened. Where is it? Texas?
Texas, yes.
Texas. All right. Young man. He's being withheld from graduation due to the fact that he has locks. Now we went over the school rules about this, and from the rules, what I can see is that males can't have their hair, I think, is lower than the eyebrow or covering their ear, and he's done things to, put his hair up so that he can then graduate. But this isn't the first time this has happened. This has happened actually several times.
Yes.
So what do y'all think the problem is?
The problem is, well, here's the biggest problem about this whole situation. The school should have been on top of this way before graduation has come around.
Mm-hmm.
This kid he's been growing out his hair ever since middle school. So as over time, it's going to grow. So we're talking about freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. They had 3 years to actually tell this kid, like, hey, this is not appropriate,
right? Or
hey, you need to, put it up in a bun, or wrap it up, or whatever he can do. And here we are, near graduation, and now
they're trying to stop him. What do you think?
I think it just comes down to perception. I mean, some people just perceive locks as unclean, unkept, no matter what the nationality of the person is, no matter the age, no matter the gender. They just have the perception that locks are unclean. They don't understand that people that have locks, they do wash their hair, they do take care of it. They just automatically think that it's unclean, it's unkept. The person may be lazy, that they're irresponsible. That's so not true. But it's all those different things that people perceive when they see those hairstyles on someone.
Right. This is something I've seen before. So, in my mind, I think that it's something that is really a big pushback against it, simply because I believe that Black people are coming to the realization that your hair is beautiful, exactly how it is. Like you were born with this hair for a reason. You rarely see people of other nationalities doing things to make their hair like ours, right? Occasionally you'll see like somebody who's trying to be, in the fad. They'll go get, cornrows or something, or they'll go get
one of the Kardashians.
Right.
I mean, but there are people from other nationalities that have locks though, because I love like looking and researching about locks and stuff. There's people with straight hair that it is possible for them. It's a little bit different, but you can have locks too. And I mean, they wear it and it looks, clean and neat. You could tell that they do the maintenance. There's a lady, I forgot her name, and she's based out in California, and she does locks on straight hair as well as kinky hair, and she does a really good job. So I mean, it's a lot of people that have locks, but they just, like I said, people just get perceived as these negative things. That's not necessarily true.
Do you think that'd be cultural appropriation if they're using our hairstyles?
Not just that. These styles are very few and far between, right? It's not like we seeing mad white people walking around with locks.
Yeah. Not around here, but there's other places where it's more popular. It depends.
Where are these places?
Like California, like I said, Russia even.
But no, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, show me I'm wrong. But when you see these people with locks, and I have seen white people with locks. In fact, a guy asked my ex-wife if she would help him start her locks. White dude, I'm like, word? Like, y'all get down like that? Like, you wanna, okay. Anyway, but when you see these styles, they're very few far in between. It's rare, and like even the reason I started growing my locks because all right, so I like growing my hair out. I don't actually like cutting my hair ever at all. I just did it because that's how I grew up. And I was in different organizations that made me cut my hair, like the ROTC and the college I went to. I went to a college that made us cut our hair. Like, it could not be long. But when I felt like it, I was like, okay, it's over. Like, if I can't have the job because my hair is long, well, then I don't need to work this job. You feel me? But with that said, I was working a job, and the guys on the job, white dudes, growing their hair out, like, long. It was like, okay, so how is my hair a problem? Why is my hair a problem?
Good question.
I mean, and it shouldn't be because, I mean, I don't know. I just know that there's some people that, even with white people that have straight hair that they grow it long, especially males, they even get that same kind of perception where it's like, okay, where he's lazy, he's not cutting his hair, he's just not doing anything with himself, he needs to cut his hair, he needs to do something. And I don't know, I have an issue, like he said, with the rule. If they should have enforced it in the beginning. There's some organizations that for whatever reason, they want people to cut their hair or keep their hair a certain way. It should have been enforced from the beginning. And the fact that they're waiting until now, that lets me know that it's more to it than just the rules. You're making this more personal, or there's an issue because he's black. You're picking on him because of his hair type or because of his race. So that's why I have an issue. But I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I also didn't like, from the video that I saw of this particular school, the fact that they used the word bullied when they're the ones bullying this young man and his cousin.
Explain yourself.
Well, I watched the video about the boy, and they said something. The school made an official statement, and they used the along the lines that that's their rules, and they're not going to be bullied into like changing their rules. But at the same time, you're basically bullying this child. You waited until he's about to graduate, and you're going to suspend him so he can still graduate, but he can't walk across the stage with his peers. And you're also doing the same thing to his cousin who's in the 10th grade. Right. I think that's a form of bullying. So it's interesting that they use that word when that's exactly what they're doing with these students.
Right. Now, you had the rules, right? Can you pull up the rules real quick? Yeah, I don't know why I decided to do it like this, but we decided to look up the rules, like to see exactly what the rules are, just so that I don't want to be uninformed. I don't want us to be on here looking stupid, even if we look stupid to some people. We don't care. We know what the rules say. So go ahead and read those.
So here's the rules for the hair. This is in the student conduct. Now, the hair must be clean and well groomed. Geometric or unusual patterns like, mohawks, faux hawks, shaved or cut hair is not permitted. Not supposed to have unnatural hair colors. Ribbons or other types of hair accessories should not distract from the learning environment and be appropriate to the hairstyle. Don't really get how that can cause a distraction, but anyway. Now here is the rules for the male students here.
This is the part that fits into, I guess, what they're trying to use. Mm-hmm. Again, go ahead.
Hair will not extend or at any time below the eyebrows or below the ear lobes. Male students' hair must not extend below the hair. May not extend below the top of the t-shirt collar or be gathered or worn in a style that would allow the hair to extend below the top of the t-shirt collar, below the eyebrows or below the earlobes when let down. So this is pretty much like JRTC, because I was in JRTC.
Right.
Yeah, or military.
Military.
And then I still feel like if that's what the rule is, that's fine. But it should have been enforced before it got below the ears. It's obviously longer now. He obviously
it's way longer now.
Why wasn't anything said before?
They waited too long.
Man, this is targeting.
Yeah.
This is very, very simply targeted.
Not only targeting,
because
but example.
Yeah, well, you have to understand that this man went years without getting his hair cut. It's like, okay, if this was a problem. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the school rule, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't graduation rules. No. This is the school rules. So why isn't this being enforced up until the time of his graduation?
Now, I don't know how they do it because when I used to be in high school for the dress code, we used to sign, for the dress code and whatnot, and send it to our parents, and they had to sign as
exactly.
Well. So, what's up? If this guy is an example that you're trying to put out, or like Kool said, like like they're trying to target him.
Right.
I'm also proud of the young man for standing his ground on this issue because, no matter what happens with him, by him standing up to this, it may make a difference for other students, that are coming in after him. So I'm very proud of him for standing up for this.
Now, here's a question.
Because he could have just gave up and just cut his hair.
Here's a question. Y'all know I'm taking the rebellious route every time. Do you think, seeing this, right, if you're a parent, that you would allow your kids to go to this school, no matter how good it is?
No. Especially with this whole situation, no, I wouldn't send my child to school. Because, it's going to happen the same way. We're going to have another controversy. It's going to be on the news. We're going to keep talking about it. It's going to be a hashtag. Just to go through that, no. Just to go through that headache, I'd rather either homeschool or put them in another school.
And I agree with this because, like I said, and that's one of the main things that I'm even talking about it because I don't cover social topics. You know what I mean? Like celebrity gossip, stuff like that. But I do want to discuss this just simply because, and I'm glad you brought it to my attention. I wanted to discuss this because this isn't the first time this has happened. This happens with black girls. Mm-hmm. We've seen it where, they're wearing their hair. They can't do it. The young man who, the wrestler, they cut this man hair at the match.
At the match, yeah.
At the match.
That was
like, you know how
so
embarrassing that is?
But there is a rule on that. That was the coach's fault because he's been growing out his hair too.
So was he not supposed to grow his hair?
Not to that certain level, yeah.
So with that said,
I just feel like if these rules are in place, I get it. I might not always agree with it, but anytime there's a rule, don't enforce it whenever you feel like it. It needs to be enforced with every single person.
Every single time.
Any single person that violates that rule, not just when you want to pick and choose. That's where I have an issue. If you want to enforce the rule, that's fine, but it should have been enforced from the beginning.
Yeah, don't wait to the last minute.
Don't wait till the middle of the match.
Exactly.
To humiliate somebody.
Right.
And I give it to him. He had to do it. And the one thing also playing is not only just the coach, but the parent. I don't know if the parents were there, but I feel like the parents should have stepped in as well and said something about it too, because you're not going to sit up here and cut my child's hair.
I would, as a parent, I would have stepped in.
I would have cursed the fuck out. I don't give a shit at that point. I don't know. Can we curse?
It was hard for me to watch the video. So
I don't. You know what that. And now, like you said, that's why I had you look up the rules because I didn't know exactly what the rules on that situation was.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That would have been a tough issue to deal with as a parent. I can't even imagine how you explain to your kid that, oh yeah, this is just the rules.
Or this is the way it is in society. Like, we shouldn't make ourselves and dumb ourselves down with our hairstyle because it makes somebody else feel comfortable.
Right.
We've been making white people feel comfortable for years. We shouldn't make them feel comfortable.
Now,
not because this is our natural hair. This is your natural hair. That's your natural hair. It shouldn't be that way. Can't help it.
This is one thing I do want to say. We're gonna allow gender roles to play their, do what they do. These are young men we're talking about, right? Now, when we get to talk about the young ladies that are wearing their natural hair, who are wearing braids, who are being sent home, who are they're wearing their hair and they're having issues at school. I think at that point you realize it's more than just, and for anybody who just wants to say, oh, these are just the rules, y'all just need to follow the rules. Well, these young ladies are, we were just talking about this. Women are, what did you say specifically? Because I don't want to misspeak.
I don't remember. I said a lot.
Okay, I was saying, why are there rules about guys' hairs, but not rules about women hair?
There are rules for women's hair. I mean, it is. I mean,
but the length.
The length, because y'all can put it in a ponytail and whatnot.
I mean, it's just the way society is. Men are usually the ones wearing shorter hair, and women, are allowed to usually wear their hair longer. I didn't make those rules. That's just, if you're talking about as far as like the military, that's just the rule.
Well, no, just in general, because when you think about like academies, like this is an academy. Mm-hmm. If you've been in an academy or any kind of school, women are allowed to wear their hair long. It does not matter.
But there are still some organizations that even if you have long hair, they still want you to put your hair up. Your hair cannot be below the collar. Your hair cannot be below, a certain length. So no matter if you're male or female, they don't allow you to have your hair below the collar. So even if you have long hair, you still need to put it up in some type of fashion. You can't just wear it long like how I have it. You have to have it up. And I mean, it's a lot of organizations that still require that if you have long hair to put it up in some form or fashion.
What I'm discussing though is the women, like it's not necessarily that you have a length issue. It's you have a style issue. The fact that you wear your hair naturally, the fact that you are wearing braids, man, I wish I could remember the specific instances where young ladies had issues in school.
I mean, you can easily Google instances where young women and older women were wearing their natural hair, and they were told that it was considered unkept or unprofessional, and they had to put it in a different style, whether it was a straight style. Which a lot of times they might not come out and say it, but that's what they're implying. They want you to basically straighten your hair or to wear wigs of some sort to kind of cover it up. They don't want to see the natural kinky curls, basically, is what they have a problem with a lot of times.
And you kind of dealt with this in the military,
yes,
right?
Yes, I did. At the time, I was in the Army from 2013 to 2017, and it was during 2013, at the time they had the regulations, and for whatever reason they had changed it. And the short story is basically they changed, like, there was a certain amount of braids, cornrows that you could have. They had to be a certain width and everything.
It had to be a certain width.
It was crazy. And I remember before it was
changed. It had to be 3 inches.
They were like, well, I remember people that didn't have natural, they were like, well, it's not going to affect me. And it was and I was like, okay. And at the time, I didn't know how to do cornrows. So the only way I could really do my hair was I did the flat 2-strand twist. I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I'm like, okay, I went through basic, I went through AIT, wearing this style. Now you're telling me I can't wear this style now? I feel like as long as it doesn't interfere with my headgear or anything, that it shouldn't be an issue. So when they made the rule change, honestly, I actually got harassed more by other leadership of color, women of color, about my hair. And I heard comments from, I remember it was 2 black male NCO sergeants, and they made a comment about like, they need to put a perm in her hair. They never talking about me, but they were talking about another soldier. And I just felt like that was so like disrespectful for them to say that. I mean, they were just talking about this soldier like really bad. And they said that she need to do something with her hair. She need to put a perm in it or something because the way she looking, blah, blah. And yes, sometimes you will look crazy, but think about it. We're outside. We're sweating in the heat. We might be outside in the rain in formation. And guess what? Our hair might have been straight when we came out, for formation, but by the end of formation, our hair shrivels back up. Because guess what? Our hair is naturally curly, so it's going to shrivel back up. So that's why for me, I never really straightened my hair. I kept my hair straight. I just had 2 French braids. And at the time, according to the regulation, you were allowed to, according to what I wish I had the actual regulation, but from what I read, it was fine to wear 2 French braids. I basically just had 1 braid on one side and 1 on the other. That was it. And they were trying to say that I couldn't wear the 2 braids because I was supposed to have at least 3 or something like that. But it was some kind of rule the way that was worded. It was very vague the way it was just, they had written out the regulation at the time because they didn't have to go back and change it. So during that time frame, I had to deal with, arguing and debating with different people. I even had to go to my leadership and say my own platoon sergeant, like, look, these 2 sergeants keep harassing me about my hairstyle. I showed them the regulation like you told me because that was the thing she always told me, no matter what, you need to get the regulation, print it out, highlight it, and carry it with you if it's an issue. And I showed it to them.
But isn't that a problem?
What do you mean?
Isn't that a problem that you would actually literally have to carry a document like your freedom
papers? It got
papers?
that bad, but that's just the reality of my situation at the time. And I remember at one point I went to the food court, and I was actually in South Korea, which is a whole nother thing. I can't get my hair done like I can in the U.S. I'm really limited where I can go. There was like a few people that knew how to do, hair of my type. So I was getting to a point. Okay, yeah. So I was at the food court, and I noticed that I was the only black female soldier that was wearing my hair out natural. Everyone else was wearing wigs and braids. At least at the time that I was in that particular point in time that I was at the food court. But it made me realize, like, wow, why is it that we're allowed to wear our hair? It's like, and I get it. Like at the time, it was so much easier to throw on a wig or just to put your hair in braids and not have to get harassed every day. Like you need to do something with your hair, blah blah whatever. And then sometimes, even if you did your hair, certain people like, oh, I see you trying to do your hair. They would just give you a hard time, So it's just all those little things, like, people might think it's just hair. It's more than just hair. It really is. It's just like people perceive you as a certain way with your hair, you know. Just because my hair was natural doesn't mean that I, you know, was a bad soldier. I kept my hair, I washed my hair often. I kept my hair pulled back the best that I could with gel and everything else. And again, we're outside in elements. We have to wear headgear and different things. I mean, it could cause, you know, frizziness or whatever. But I did the best I could to maintain my hair and meet the standards of the regulations. And also during that time was interesting too, because there was actually a Marine, a female Marine. She had her hair in locks, and they had, for some reason, they got to a point where they told her to cut her locks, or else she was basically going to get kicked out of the military. I don't know her name. I'm pretty sure you can Google it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, she had locks, and her locks were not short either, they were long. So my thing was, when I was reading about it during that time, the same time frame, 2013, I was shocked because I was just like, okay, she's going through all this stuff, and she basically, like, decided that she was not going to cut her locks and end up later getting kicked out of the military. But I just found that interesting because she had went years with her hair like that, and it wasn't an issue. I mean, now, of course, they changed it.
Something you brought up, though. Do you feel like part of the reason why we have such a hard time with, like, natural hair is due to the fact that, like, our own people don't see it as, like, I don't know, presentable?
I do. And I also feel like some people automatically just put you in that box. Oh, well, you must smoke weed then if you got your hair like that, or you must be, you know, lazy or irresponsible, or you gonna rob somebody, you know, because all this different. Seriously, because I mean, when I wear my hair out in an afro, I get treated totally different than when my hair is straight.
Like you some
totally
Black Panther
different.
member.
I've had everything from people ignoring me. I've had people like basically give me an attitude, or they look at me like.
They see you as ghetto and ratchet.
Yeah, but let me come
How
in with my
are you ghetto and
straight.
ratchet with a fro? I've never met any ratchet chicks with like a nice fro.
Because
like I would like to meet them. If you meet a ratchet chick, she got like the silk bob. You feel me? She's stiff wear, bitch. Like
What the heck?
Oh my god, I'm going to Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Like, here's the thing about this, and that's what really messed up about this country, though. We're so into this Eurocentric, style. So when every time we do anything of our hair, it's going to be perceived as, you know, ghetto, ratchet. Oh, we smoke weed, we steal cars, we do all this other stuff. It's not like that, though. It's just it just comes with just a lot of discrimination over the years. You know, especially I'm sorry about this, but I'm gonna kind of blame the Gen Xers for this because they did a lot of code switching. I get they were trying to get by and survive, but I feel
know what? I don't blame them.
Can you expand on that?
I don't expand on that because
go ahead. Well, wait. First. I don't blame them for code switching. This is the only reason why, and then I would need you to explain it. Yeah, the reason I don't blame them for code switching is this: they got us in the door. Like, listen, I understand that, like, it's bad now, but, like, then when a lot of, like, our, like, ancestors, like my grandmother, she was the first black nurse in this certain area in Florida. It was, like, I can't remember. But, like, it was so bad for her when she first started working there that, like, nurses would give her orders when she first got to work, like, with their back to her. So she would, like, you know, mess with them, like, huh? I didn't hear you. Anyway, but, like, they did what in those times they did what they had to do to get us in the door. Now we're in the door. It's time to wild out.
Yeah, I got that. I get that.
And it's also explain code switching.
Okay.
The whole code switching. So the whole thing, for a corporate job, especially back then, is you had to have very clean, neat hair, and for women you had to have you straighten out your hair, put weave in your hair, and all this other stuff. To fit that Eurocentric style that everybody was perceiving back then, because owners weren't fond of the Afrocentric attitude. Especially,
you couldn't come in with a frozen.
No, you can't go in with locks.
That's why I was born later.
Shout out to us.
So, but I know that's a strong statement to say I blame Gen Xers, but in certain cases, like my dad's a Gen X. He was born in 1970. Same thing with my mom. She was born the same year. I used to grow my hair out as afro, like not too big, but it was like a little fro, and I had curls and whatnot. He used to tell me, "Oh, when you gonna cut your hair? When you gonna cut your hair?" And then there's other people that would tell me, like, "Oh, when you gonna cut your hair? Why should I?" I had my hair cut ever since from I have to say from 5th grade to middle school and throughout sophomore year and after sophomore year and junior year, I started growing my hair out just to see how it is. I kept getting calls, well, when you gonna cut your hair? I'm like, why should I cut my hair? This is how I am. This is.
Yeah, but you understand though, like, I mean, I agree with you, but you have to understand at the time that they experienced like the natural hair movement, their movement is totally different than our movement. Totally different. They did it for different reasons, and
a lot of them grew their hair out as a form of rebellion.
They
like,
did, and
I'm
they
growing
did
my
that to show
hair
black
out.
is beautiful.
Right.
We are beautiful the way we are, and also it was also to gain confidence within our own community to accept our beauty. Instead of trying to constantly straighten our hair and fit into that.
Yeah, because
status quo.
that's putting chemicals and damaging your hair back when back.
Because their chemicals was totally different than chemicals we got now.
Especially the conks.
They had the real stuff.
like y'all know.
You can too long if you want to.
That was a 6-month perm.
Like, you know how the conks and the Jerry curls, putting all them chemicals in your hair would damage our hair. Our hair is not made to be like that,
Right.
especially kinky and coarse hair. You can say like, oh, Somalians have straight hair and loose hair and all that stuff, but that's different. Here in America, Black Americans, since we mostly come from the west coast of Africa, Benin and Nigeria, most of them have very coarse and kinky hair. We came over here, obviously this is where it came up to, So putting all those chemicals in your hair and having someone, saying, oh, sorry, you can't get the job because your hair.
No, they're never gonna say that though.
No, not all.
They're never
in their head.
And that's what I think Gen X for, because even
They
though
went through it, though.
even though they did a lot of things to get in, there are like those small factions that were like, you know what, I'm going in with a fro. I'm going in with my curls nice. I'm going in with my locks. I'm going in as I am, and it forced people to send a lot of people home that were overqualified.
Yeah.
Send a lot of people home that could do the job. You feel me? And honestly, I'm grateful for him, because I don't think that, like I said, I don't think that now we'd have as much freedom as we do. You see black women with natural hair all the time. You see brothers with their hair and locks all the time.
But you know what's so sad is even with all of this that has went on, even now in 2020, you still have those issues, that still come up. We shouldn't even be talking about this. You know what I mean? That's the sad part. That's why I'm in here, because I'm like, I love natural hair so much that I wanted to do my part to make it more acceptable, to show people that it is beautiful, that you can accept your curls the way it is, without these feeling like you're ugly or feeling like, oh, I need to do something with my hair. I cringe when people say that, or when I say, I hate also when people say, and I guess hate is a strong word, but I really do feel that way. When people say that, oh, natural hair is not for you, that's like somebody telling me that my black skin is not for me. If that's the way my skin is, if that's the way my hair is, I have the right to wear my hair that way.
And it shouldn't also get to the point where we have to pass laws to make sure, private.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
you shouldn't have to pass a law to be black.
In New York, like all these places have no.
I'm black. We need a law.
We need to shut these Negroes up.
Nah.
Whatever.
Because truth be told, there's some people that are lighter skinned or even white, and their hair is just as kinky as mine. So somewhere down the family tree, you have some kinks too. So I mean, that's why I'm just saying. I'm just being honest.
Grandma was messing with Kente when she was.
But it's the truth though.
No, you can't tell on that. That one blood drop rule.
You know what? That's something else. What's up with that? Anyway, but that's not what we're talking about.
What I'm saying is, I don't care if you white, black, whatever. If you have any type of curl in your hair, whether it's the kinky Wakanda kinks or the waves, just accept your beauty. It's crazy how women will any little bend in their hair. Oh, this is horrible. I know it looks terrible. I love curls.
I love them. Absolutely love them.
Curl power.
Curl power.
That's what will be a hashtag. Watch.
Hashtag curl power.
I'm sorry. At some point I was gonna have to put in something.
Listen, no, but I think that is something that we need to need to become more open to. We need to become more open to it, and we need to force organizations to be open to it.
And as far as
not necessarily bullying.
No.
Because I don't think that's what the black community is trying to do. I don't think we're trying to bully people at all. I think what we want, we just want I want my hair to be just as accepted as little Billy right here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, if he cool, let me be cool. Like, there shouldn't be a divide. I remember when I went to Southern Virginia. I wasn't gonna say these people's names, but fuck it. When I went to Southern Virginia, I used to rock a fro. Mm-hmm. Here was the thing. And because what, man, I had the most ratchet fro ever. Like, I did not comb it or nothing. Anyway, that's probably give me a high five, cut and print. Beautiful, gentlemen.
I gotta watch.
But I would see guys, white guys, with their hair long. And my hair, because it's curly, it don't go over my ears to whereas theirs would. And they do stuff like, you can't come to dinner, like into the dining hall.
Dining hall?
You can't come into the dining hall, swipe your card to eat if you don't have your hair cut.
I mean, it's Virginia, man. Like, what you
Don't do Virginia.
His mom's from Virginia. He can do whatever he wants.
My family's from Virginia. I know how it is. They live in a small town called Bluefield. I know how that shit is.
What?
Yeah, that's a small town.
You know where Buena Vista is?
Fuck no.
Yeah. No one does. The people from Buena Vista.
You know where Bluefield is?
I've heard of it.
I mean, everybody, well, just to go off tangent, Bluefield is not known to anybody besides the HBCU there. It's Bluefield State College. Nobody knows the HBCU there, but there's a bunch of white people that go there. So
it's an HBCU?
Yes. In a white ass town. But all white people go to that because, white people get in HBCUs because they're minorities and they get, discounts and stuff.
Is their band nice? Oh, we talking about foolishness. Anyway. Anyway, I think that it is time that not bullying, but organizations need to realize that the African Americans in your organization have a right to wear their hair naturally. The next thing is you can't pick and choose when you're going to make people follow the rules. I think it has to be consistent. Due to the fact that he brought it up, now his cousin is a target. Mm-hmm. I think that if you're going to do it, you have to be consistent. When you don't, you make yourself look like a fraud. And that's it. That's it for this episode. I don't want to harp on it too much. I think we've had our fun. And I think we've expressed the point to some degree. Now, these two are professionals. So I have a barber and a DJ on the show. Y'all give them your information.
Gen Xers, y'all can come at me all you want. I said what I said.
Give them your information.
He's so worried about that.
Right, he wants the smoke.
He does.
I said what I said.
Forgot all about it.
My name is DJ Heart Attack. That's DJ _Heart Attack. If you can't spell attack, then I don't know what you're doing. Read a book.
And it's HART, not HEART.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot something.
Okay, and my information, I'm Nisi Star on most of the social media platforms, and that's spelled NEECEESTAR. And you can find all my information on Instagram as far as where I work and what I do, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and I feel like I'm forgetting one, and Twitter.
All right. You can find me at Kool Breeze Media on Instagram and YouTube. Kool with a K, Breeze Media. You can find me on Twitter at King Breeze Sensitive Ass, and you can find me on. Why does he laugh every time I say that? Anyway. And you can also find me on Facebook at El Cristo Negro. Y'all have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.